Okay, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm the faith-based counselor, and it's been a while since I posted anything, or I've been I've been quite busy. More like overwhelmed. I'm always busy, just like everyone else, but I've been quite overwhelmed. So I was trying to relax, and I hope I can actually relax after I do this live. I thought to do live. I wanted to do a recording, but I thought let me just do live. Um, and this is about the ongoing debate about 50-50 in splitting bills mostly. So apparently it's about money, right? That's what this is about. It's about money. So it's talked about the splitting of bills, and just when you think, oh, the conversation is settled. um when I say settled, I don't necessarily mean, and maybe it's not settled because um all sides to the argument want an agreement that means that you actually believe in what I believe in, or you do what I think should be done, as opposed to um just agreeing to disagree and be like, you know what, if you believe in 50-50, you can always just find somebody who believes in splitting bills with you. And if you don't believe in splitting bills, then find somebody who actually doesn't believe in splitting bills as well. I mean, that sorts the matter out as far as I'm concerned, but apparently not. I guess it's because, for one, um, when we want who we want, and who we want does not believe in what we believe in, rather than just let them go, we try to convince them to do what we want, because we believe that we are right. And frankly speaking, we probably are right. But it's an effort in futility, actually, trying to change people's minds about what they actually believe in. It's futile to try to change people's minds, to try to get them to believe in what you believe in. And so trying to do that is just stress. Trying to do that is also could make you a manipulator. You understand? It could turn you into somebody who is manipulative. And then as well, it tests you, like how well do you understand the concept of boundaries. Hi Joshua. It also tests you, like how well do you understand the concept of boundaries. Boundaries meaning that you may not agree with somebody, but you're able to try and understand where they are coming from. Understanding where someone comes from, in my book, in my thought process, understanding them does not necessarily mean you agree with them. It just means that you have an empathy, or a knowing based on what they have told you on what they're going through. Now, back to the conversation about the 50-50 thing. I Where this is coming from, especially for men who believe that they have to split bills, where I see it from, I don't know where other women see it from that believe that a man should be the provider. I think what some men don't understand is that we see men as bigger than how they see themselves. That is what some men don't understand. Some men automatically see it as, oh, you just want somebody to just give you everything and just be everything for you. But you are not putting into consideration that we are actually seeing you as somebody who has the potential to actually be the overall provider. Like, you have it in you. We see that in you. We see that as a potential in you. And it becomes a problem when what you see in somebody they don't see in themselves. They will not manifest that thing. Even if it's obvious to everybody else, as long as they do not see it in themselves, they will not manifest it. That is one. Two, even if they do see it in themselves that, oh, I have the ability and the potential to be this person that is a provider, right? Even when they see it in themselves, if they do not want to be that person, there is nothing anyone else can do. God has given us the power of choice for a reason. God has given us that power of choice. And the thing about having the power of choice is that you get to choose whether you want to become something or whether you don't want to become that thing. It's not a matter of, oh, I have the ability to do these things. You might have the ability to do something, but if you're unwilling to do it, it's your choice to not do it. Is it a good choice? Maybe not. But then there's also the case of, um let me try and get this now. There's also the case of you can, but should you kind of situation, but that doesn't really apply in this case. Now, where I am, one of the places I'm coming from in this conversation is from the book of Genesis, where, the man listened to his wife, wrongfully so, instead of maintaining what God had instructed him about. Thou shalt not eat from this particular tree, you shall not eat from it. Now, instead of maintaining that, he listened to his wife, and they both fell, and they were cursed differently, right? um the woman was cursed with, oh, she'll always struggle with a lot of things. She was cursed with her own kind of struggle. The man was also cursed with his own kind of struggle, and part of that struggle is that in sweat will he produce from the land, right? So if you look at the book of Genesis, you see that curse there. And sometimes when men talk about 50-50, I can't help but just remember that statement. Like, it's like their mindset set is still stuck in the curse, not in the place where I can actually provide effortlessly, and not just think that, why can't I provide effortlessly? It's not as if I will be the first man to provide, to be a provider effortlessly. So if other men are doing it, why can't I? So this is where you think that a person is still in the mindset of the curse. And Christ, the Bible says, has redeemed us from the curse of the law. So then again, the problem with redemption, well, not the problem with redemption. The thing about redemption is you got to accept that you're redeemed. You have to accept it and walk in it. Now, if you do not accept it, then you keep walking within the previous law. You keep walking in what it was rather than what it can be and what it should be. And when you are somebody who thinks that way, a lot of things bypass you. There are some people that don't want more from life than what they want to give. So they're like, okay, this is what I want to give. And there's some people that have a mindset, and I think it's the men who, and women, as a matter of fact, men and women, because it's not just men alone. The people who think that, oh, in a relationship, you have to split bills 50-50. They're only, maybe they are the people you can call the idealist, or is it the realist now? I don't know. People who believe in what they see, what is the reality on ground, that is how they make their life decisions, apart as opposed to people who be like, well, this might be the reality, but why can't I create my own reality? I am going to create my own reality. I don't like this particular reality, and I'm going to create my own reality. Like, we can sit here and talk about the economy. Was there ever a time when the economy was good, is the question. Like in history, where the economy was good for all. I don't think there was ever is. If there is, please drop in the comment section and tell me what era in human history where the economy was good for everybody, where men could actually be providers to the maximum ability. No, but one thing you notice is consistently throughout history is that there were always wealthy people in every season of history. At all times of history, there were wealthy people. At all times of history, there were people that did not, there were the haves, like they would say now, and the have nots. Every time of history, no matter how bad it was, even during the time of war, during the time of famine, there were people who still had. There were men who were still thriving. In fact, to even make it more interesting, there were people who did not even have before there was an economic problem, a general economic problem. And during the time when there was a general economic problem, they ended up becoming the haves, becoming part of the haves. And so we might talk about the different ways of becoming the have, but then the decision is it's on you really. It's for you to decide, do I want to be somebody who is a provider? Do I want to be somebody as a man? Do I want to be a provider? Like where there is a will, it is said there is a way, right? Where there is a will, there is a way. So if you're willing as a man and you have, it's part of your goal, it's part of your dream, it's part of your vision as a man that I will be a provider for the people in my life, for the women in my life, I will provide for them. You understand? Does that mean that you have the means right now? No, it's not about the means, because here is the thing: a person can have the means and not have the will. I have heard of stories of men who have money. They are well to do. They can single-handedly take care of their children, single-handedly take care of their wives without them having to lift a finger, but they still would not give. Even if they had it in them, they would rather give to other people. They will rather give to people that are not their wives. Some of them would even have extramarital affairs, as it were, and they are financing 100% financing their side chicks, their mistresses, their paramours, their concubines, whatever name you want to call them. These men are the ones who are financing these women 100%, and the children sometimes that even come out of this union. But it would appear that it is their own wives, the one that they are legally married to, that they expect should be able to take care of herself and have the ability to take care of herself while they are busy financing other women out there. So it's not even a matter, it's not an economic issue. This mindset of splitting bills 50-50 is not an economic issue, is a mindset issue. Is a mindset issue. And so for every man out there, the choice is yours, really. You can decide that, you know what, I want to change my mindset to somebody who has the ability to provide and will provide. Like it begins with the mind. Like they always say, when it comes to money, when it comes to riches, when it comes to wealth, it's in the mind. It begins there. In other words, if a person can have money and have a poverty mindset, a person can have money and have the mindset of a beggar. A person can have money and have the mindset of and be stingy, and a person can be not have anything financial liquid, as it were, and they would have a generous mindset. So it's in your mind, really, and so the choice is yours. You can decide that I want to change my mind. Hello, Sunusi Lawan. Hi, I'm responding hi back to you. Thank you for joining. So a person can have a mindset of a provider, somebody who wants to provide and be like, this is my goal, this is my vision. It doesn't, that this is the way things are done does not mean you must toe that line. You can decide for yourself, like, you know what, it might be out there it might be out there that, okay, a man must share or split his bills with the woman he's with, but you can decide that, no, I don't have to be that way. I don't have to be that way. And then I understand that for men, though, it requires um, a lot more than changing your mind, because that would mean that you have to go against some certain men. And if I understand the way the male dynamics go, men don't often like to go against other men. And you would see that there are some times when even men, I think I had a video, no, I don't think I did a video about, are men afraid of other men? I did a video on that one. And whether men admit it or not, you can tell that men can be afraid of other men. And that is why sometimes they can champion a cause that they don't really believe in. They can agree to something and publicly, state that yes, what this person is saying is correct, but in their private lives they are doing something else. With the women in their lives, they're doing something else, and then they come out to say another thing. So you now have a situation where a person has to go through a complete overhaul. It's a process, and it's also a journey. But if you're willing, you can take that journey. Now to the women, I would say this for us, for women who are watching this or listening, that look, again, don't let somebody, you have your reasons for not doing 50-50. Like, now I think I've spoken as a Christian and as a counselor, as a way. I mean, they will preach in church that, look, you can go to heaven two ways. You can go to heaven Abraham style, and you can go to heaven Lazarus style. The choice is actually yours. And you look at the scripture, you see the patriarchs of faith. You see Abraham. These were men that provided for their families, right? You see Adam, the first man, everything was, the table was set before him, like the garden was ready before he was even created and placed in that garden. And after he was tending the garden, he had an entire garden to himself, which God knows how many hectares that was. Probably was even the whole earth that was actually a garden at some point. And he had that to himself before the woman came in. And she came in, the Bible says they were both naked, and they were unashamed. So that debunks that story about, a woman has to bring something to the table. Of course, we can say, oh, that was then, this is now. But, it's a mindset thing. It's never about the era. It's never about the economy. It's about the mindset, right? The mindset you choose to be, where you choose to be in terms of how you think, how you reason, how you think other people should be. That is where the issue is exactly, right? So I would just say to women, like, you have to sit down and ask yourself, why don't you want to do 50-50? Because whatever it is you're doing, whether it is good, even if it's good, especially when it's good, you have to make sure that your mindset is in the right place, right? Personally, why I won't even do 50-50 is because once you get married as a woman, a lot is, being a married woman comes with its own expectations, comes with its own expectations. For the most part, you have to be like, you are the companion to this person. You're sharing life with somebody, and it comes with its own responsibilities. It comes with its commitment and all of that. And I want to be with a man who has a mindset of a provider, right? Who doesn't look at me as somebody that is only worth how much money she brings. No, that doesn't look at me like, oh, how much money are you bringing? What are you bringing to the table? Like, if you have to ask that question, then the conclusion is that you don't even know what a woman is. You don't know who she is. You don't even know yourself per se as much as you think you do. And that is why you're looking for who is bringing something to the table. The thing is that it's not to ask who is bringing something to the table, is to seek, who do you want in your life. The Bible says something about he that findeth a wife. So you have to seek one, right? You have to find one. Findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. So you have to seek, who are you seeking when it comes to a partner? Who do you want in your life? That is who you have to look for, right? So when you find that person, you don't, that is not when to start asking what you bring to the table. Is when you, I mean, that's another conversation for another day. I think I've probably even talked about that one, but when it comes to the matter of 50-50, I would say it doesn't mean that a woman should not have something that she's doing. Of course, whatever your hand findeth to do, do it with all your might. At the same time, as a married woman, as a woman who is getting married and planning to start a family, you cannot depend on yourself, because you're going to go through childbirth, you're going to go through pregnancy and all of that, and you shouldn't be expected to work. It's not that you can't work, but you should not be expected to work. There is a difference between a woman wanting to work and having to work. It is natural for a man to work. Like, as I heard it from men, they will tell you that a man not working is just, it does something to him because he's built to work and, bring in the produce of his work to feed his family, to feed, clothe, and shelter his family. That is something that he derives fulfillment from doing, right? So a woman working is not the problem. A woman feeling that she has to work, a woman feeling that if she doesn't work, she's not going to feed after she already has a man in her life, or married to one is more like it, is a lot of stress. It is too much stress on a woman. It's too much stress on a woman. And a lot of women right now are beginning to summon the courage to say, I don't have to do this. You understand? Like, when it comes to measuring physical strength, not skills, measuring physical strength, the man is said scientifically to be stronger. So why should I be the one to, why should I now have to split work with someone 50-50 who our strength is not even equal? You understand what I'm saying? Especially when the issue of equal pay is still even debated as we speak. The debate of equal pay is still out there, that women are doing, when women do the same kind of work as men do, they do the same kind of work with the same qualification and skill set, and yet they are still paid less than the men. That conversation is still being had. You still have where women are not getting equal pay to men that they have the same skill set with, and they're working the same hours, if not more hours than the same men, and the men are getting more pay while the women are getting less pay. But yet we want to talk about 50-50 splitting of bills. Like, it just can't work that way. But for women who want to do that and who are willing to do that, it's your choice, and all. But then you have to think about, why are you even choosing to do that? Are you doing this because it is what you believe personally, or are you doing that because you just want to align with what you think all men want? You understand? Like, why are you agreeing to that? And as a man, why are you doing 50? Why do you want to do 50-50? Is it because you don't want to work? Or is it because you don't believe enough in yourself that you have the ability, or you can grow the ability to become, somebody who can 100% provide for the women in your life? Do you understand what I mean? And then, of course, you have to identify, you have to understand the impact of women in your ecosystem as a man. Like, you have to understand the impact of women in your life, in the life of men. When you understand that, the conversation of splitting bills may not even come up again. So I think the issue here is that you, as men who believe in 50-50, they don't understand the impacts of women in the life of men. They don't understand it, they don't see it, they don't know it, and so they feel like if someone is going to be in my life, you are going to be my roommate, you're going to be my housemate. So we have to split the bills, you know. So, and that is out of order, in my opinion. That is way out of order. Well, this is how far in this conversation I can go today without blabbing. And I can, yeah, I did 25 plus minutes. So I would say, guard your hearts with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. Check out the other videos, please, please. Subscribe. I'm still on my way to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hour and whatever it is that gets you to the point where you get monetized. So please, I need subscribers. I need people who are actually interested in the content I'm putting out there. And right now, I'm putting all my content in here. Like I'm putting in terms of content on YouTube here, I'm putting all my eggs, all the content eggs in one basket, as it were. Because I want to get this particular channel monetized before I begin to split the content in different places. So when it comes to fashion, you find it on this YouTube channel. When it comes to advice, you find it here. When it comes to discussing my opinion on social matters and social issues, you're going to find it here as well. When it comes to health, you're going to find it here. When it comes to um, biblical conversations, Christian conversations, you also find that here. Food, health, every now and again. So just look through the videos. Like on this channel now, it's going to about 600 videos, almost 600 videos that we have on this channel. So you always find something of interest in here. And once you do, please like, please comment, and subscribe. Thank you. So till next time, again, guard your hearts with all diligence, for out of his flows the issues of life. And make God your friend. Okay? Make God your friend, so that doing life will be much more easier, and your life would you would experience more meaning and fulfillment in your life. Shalom. Okay.